Hey, welcome to the channel, it's Jamie the dog trainer. Today we're going to teach your dog how to look at you. So in the video today, we're using Delta, the 5-year-old Shepherd. I've only just met her today, she's completely untrained, so she'll be a really good example. For step one, you want to make sure you've got the right equipment. So you're going to need some treats or food rewards. They need to be nice and soft and easy to digest. Pulled chicken or turkey is a great way to go. You're also going to need a treat bag and a nice leash and collar so your dog is safely tethered. Step two, choose your marker word. I use the word yes. This word is going to signal to the dog that they've done the right thing and a reward is following. So in this case, we'd say yes and then follow with a food reward. It's really important that the timing of your marker word is spot on. It's important to note that without a marker, this exercise is much harder and will happen much slower. So make sure you use that marker word during this exercise. Step three, now we get to work with the dog. So now that we've got our equipment, what we want to do is we want to mark and reward, so you're using your marker word and reward for several different things. One is if she voluntarily checks in with me, so that looks at me without me asking, or if I actually ask her to look at me. What I use as a cue or a signal or a command for her to look at me, I actually use her name. So what I'm going to do here, Delta, yes. As soon as she looks, so she gave me some eye contact, I will mark and then reward. I'll let her go do her thing again and then I'll ask again. Delta, yes. So I've just marked as soon as she's responded. What I want to make sure of though is I don't call her name 3 or 4 times. So if you call her 3 times and she hasn't responded, what I'd usually do then is chuck in some other noise. So if she hasn't responded, I might go pop, 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 pop. Yes, and then mark and reward. If that hasn't worked, what I'll do then is I'll go to a lure. So a lure would be treat on the nose, up to her eyes, yes, and then mark and reward. I don't want to rely on the lure for too long though, so again, I'll give you another demo of that lure. So to be treat on the nose, up to your eyes, yes, and you're just starting to get her used to doing that. Once you've got it, I'm going to go straight back to calling her name, Delta, yes, and marking and rewarding. So all I'm doing here, Delta, yes, good girl. So at the moment she's responding really well if I ask for her attention. Yes, she's just involuntarily engaged with me then, we call that a check-in. So what I'm going to do is, yes, keep marking and rewarding every time she checks in with me. Delta. Yes. The other thing that you'll notice is that my hands are nice and close to my chest. I don't really want to have my hands out here because very quickly, yes, the dog's going to be focused on my hand. So I want to have my hands nice and close, up high, so my dog's not focused on my hand. So step 3, now that we've got some basic eye contact and look at me going, we're going to make it a little bit harder and make it a little bit more challenging. So now that we've got her starting to, yes, focus really well, and you can see she really understands the marker, I'm going to demonstrate how powerful the marker is and why it's actually really important for this exercise and any training that you do with your dog. What we're going to do here is once she's nice and focused, I'll go Delta, yes, good girl. And once she's starting to check in with me, I can have one hand out, Delta, yes. And as soon as she engages with me instead of my hand, I'm going to mark and reward. Delta, yes, good girl, well done. What this does is it basically gets her to focus on me instead of that food in my hand, so it creates a little bit of a distraction. Delta, yes, well done, good girl. Once your dog gets really good at it, you can hold your hand out and your dog should automatically flick back to your eyes instead of your food. So we go here, we see if she'll flick back across. She hasn't yet. Yes. If not, we keep trying, so we'll try again. Hey, Delta. Hey. Yes, good, she did on that one. Step 4 is challenge your dog in many different environments. You'll find once you're training in the one environment that your dog starts to get the hang of it really easily. Once that happens, challenge them, take them somewhere else like a park. It's really important that you reward your dog as much as you can. We're after really strong reinforcement history here. If you keep rewarding your dog, every time they engage with you, it'll become second nature to them after a while. So now that we've started to teach Delta to look at me cue, anytime I say, Delta, Delta, yes, we should get a response. So what we're trying to teach Delta here is if she hears her name, look at the handler. Delta, yes. And this is exactly what we're starting to get. If we reward this enough, this will become really reliable. The other thing we're trying to do as well in the meantime is also teach them in general engagement. So what we do if she ever checks in with me voluntarily, like, not quite. If she ever checks in with me voluntarily, I'll mark and reward. Yes, like that. With the markers, what we've got to make sure of is that we're not delivering the food at the same time. What we don't want to do is I don't want to go Delta, yes, and deliver the food exactly the same time. If we do that, as I mark, my dog is going to be looking at my hand. Instead, what I want to do, Delta, yes, then deliver the food. That's really important to get the most out of the marker. Delta, yes. good girl, and then deliver. You can even have the food in your hand, I don't mind, but just as long as you mark, yes, then deliver it. We can't be delivering the food at exactly the same time as the marker. The other important thing with your markers is your timing. So we need to make sure that the second she turns her head and looks at me, that my marker kicks in. So I might go, Delta, yes. So we're going to make sure that yes comes in just as Delta looks at me. You can also use look at me for distraction. So if your dog's looking at something that you know your dog's going to get distracted by, you can go, Delta, yes, and then mark and reward for that. Once your puppy gets the hang of it, they should get really good at turning away and looking at the handler, or you, when your dog's distracted. It's really important that you reward your dog as much as you can. We're after really strong reinforcement history here. If you keep rewarding your dog, every time they engage with you, it'll become second nature to them after a while. Hope you enjoyed the video.